We'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to friends and welcome to people watching on television. I just want to bring to your attention we belong to the main archives and museums, and it's really very interesting to look through this and see what other historical groups are doing. Now there's a Maine Museums Day, which is written up here. And there are other things in here about things that are going on in the state and various preservation organizations and historical organizations doing. And it really gives you very good ideas about things that we could do, and we should be writing up just what you talked about, and get into this also, so that Searsport is in the official newsletter of the Maine Archives and Museums. So,
is that online by any chance?
I don't know.
Can you download it? Okay, when it comes around, I'll take it down.
And the other thing I want to mention is there's going to be a Old House Forum, an annual meeting, on Saturday, April 30th, as an annual meeting of the Maine Preservation Society. And I went to one of those maybe last year or the year before. But they're very interesting because you get you get what's going on in the state in all of the organizations, and then you also get some information that is very useful in our work. And then says that there will be a reception to follow at Governor Samuel Coney House, William and Elsie Biles Mansion. So the meeting is in the Coney Flatiron Senior Residences. That's the old Coney High School. Yeah. Remember that when you go by, when you go through Augusta, you see that?
This is in Portland, correct?
No, Augusta.
Augusta. Okay.
So they're.
Oh, yeah, right there at the Rotary.
Yeah, it's an interesting building. Apparently, it's senior residences now.
No kidding. Is anybody interested in going?
I'm going to plan to go. Yeah.
I'd love to go.
Okay,
maybe
we'll get together.
And anybody else that I wouldn't mind driving?
It's in April, is it?
April 30th. It's on a Saturday.
Okay, well, we can bring it up again next month.
There's a next issue, May 2016. Submissions have to be there by March 30th. There's another email address and a telephone number if you're thinking about.
To put something in the newsletter.
Yeah.
Actually, we should make that kind of a regular thing.
To get our name out there.
Exactly. What time is this?
Does it sound good?
Yeah, she's getting over a very bad cold.
Maine Museum Day.
Is it Maine Preservation? Doesn't have a time on this. For some reason.
Probably we'll get another notice.
Okay.
I'm sure we will if there's no time. It says save the date. That means that there'll be more coming. Mary, are you okay?
Just put this over here for Mary to take a look at it.
I really didn't write up the minutes from last time, but you know what we did. We've been working on this
Comprehensive plan.
This.
You okay?
You all right,
I
Mary?
don't know if I'll be able to stay. I can't seem to stop coughing.
Sorry. Have anything for?
We've been working on the comprehensive plan, and I think we've really made a lot of progress. And so that's what we did the last time. And today we're going to discuss what I did is you know that the history part is finished. We okayed that, and that's in the file now. And when they're ready to receive it, why we have it all ready for them. That was updated from the last time that it was done. The other thing that we were responsible for, these are the required topic areas. And one of them, as a matter of fact, it's the first one on the list, is history and archaeological. And that's what we were responsible for. And in order to do that, we had to state the goals, and we had to analyze what our goals were and how we would move on them, and then develop policies to carry out those goals. So I went ahead and did that because I thought it would be easier to do it, and then for you to okay it or to critique it and change it in any way that you want to. So let me give you what we have here. It was based on just the things that we've been talking about. So all I did was organize them and put them in this. And I pretty much followed the same organization that the previous committee had done for the last comprehensive plan.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, wow.
That's wonderful.
I don't know what he was working on.
Oh, we have a copy already.
Yeah.
How about that? Here's a copy all for yourself.
Okay, well, I've been hoarding yours. There you are.
Thank you.
I'll give you back the original. How's that? And here's an extra one.
You know what? I'll put it out there because somebody might want to pick it up and
Yeah.
read it. Okay. What I gave you a copy of what I'm recommending for us to include in the comprehensive plan. So that's this one. When you're finished reading the newsletter.
It's interesting.
All right, well, okay, listen, go ahead.
It is nice to see what everybody else is doing.
It is. Wonderful.
These are mostly historical societies, but
And you know, a lot of these are just little organizations. They're not any more than we are. So, and I think that the Historic Society should be a member of this and get their name there too.
yeah.
Has, do you know if anyone has ever submitted
I
anything
have.
before? Have
I
you?
have.
Oh, it was about the museum in the streets, was it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I may have done two things. I can't
Maybe
really
the
remember.
the placards, maybe for the houses.
Yeah, we didn't have something about the major.
Yeah.
That would have been a
that
nice
would've
been,
story.
yeah.
Yeah.
We still can.
Could we?
No reason why we can't.
That might be nice to write it something.
Yeah, we got pictures and everything. Can you subscribe to it? Oh, your membership information. Okay.
Okay, well, let's move on. Maybe you can finish reading that at home. because you may want to talk about this part of the comprehensive plan that we were responsible for. I'll read what the state has sent us. You have to state the goals. The plan must indicate the state goals or goals relevant to each topic area as identified. And the plan must identify the issues facing the community using the series of questions for each of the topic areas in Section 3. These questions get to the heart of the issues a community must plan for to address the state goals. A community must address each of these questions in its plan's narrative unless determined not to be applicable. So if you'll turn to this one now, the historical and archaeological resources, that's the part that we're supposed to do. And our goal at the top, as stated, is to preserve the state's historic and archaeological resources. So first we listed the resources, the historic buildings, and this is according to the information that we got from the State Preservation Commission. It's interesting that the College Club Inn was not included in the one that was done previously. I don't know why, whether they just missed it, because I'm sure that it was included. But these are all of the historic buildings on the National Register. And we have documentation of that. And you might like to, this might be a good time to give you this, because Don just developed this map, and I think it's so helpful. You want to look at one, Don?
I've got it.
Okay.
And it's developing, it's not.
So if you look down at the historic buildings, you'll see that they are identified on this map.
Yeah, I'd like to make just one small
Sure.
point there. When you, where's the East Main Street Historic District?
Yep.
That includes numbers 2, 3, and 4. Those buildings are in that district. They're on the register individually, and they're also part of that district.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because they are listed individually, but they are also
Part
in
of
the
the
district.
district,
Yeah. So that any other house that is built in that district would be in that district, but not necessarily an historic house. For
Yeah.
example, the property that was sold from the
80 Nichols.
yeah,
Yeah.
which one is that? The John Nichols house.
Mm-hmm.
There's a driveway going back, and the waterfront property was sold. So if somebody builds on that property, it's in the historic district,
Yes,
but
it
it's
is.
not on the National Register.
That's right.
Is that something we should mention or correct or something in our plan?
Well, there's nothing to correct. Just so that we understand
Yeah.
the difference.
As part of the map that I'm still in the progress of doing, I will state that the district contains the 3.
Yeah. Which houses it
Buildings,
is,
yeah.
and that land is not part of it. That's it.
Your
One's
map
one.
has numbers, ours doesn't. 'Cause I was
That's
trying to
right.
figure
Yeah.
out-
Yours doesn't, but
yeah.
you're talking about this whole piece right
Yes,
here,
I am.
correct?
Yeah, that's what I'm working on. I'm working
Yeah.
on numbering
Yeah.
in
Okay.
alignment with this list here.
Yeah.
I'm numbering them and this is
I think I
just
did this wrong.
a handy size. This 8.5 by 11 is a handy size that you can read if you got a good eye.
Yeah.
He has a big one.
We have
You know, it
11
would be
by
good to
17.
put that up somewhere.
We have an
No.
11 by 17 that is
Why do I have
pretty good. Yeah, I'm sure there's a place around here somewhere we could put it. ask Jane, when I get the map done, ask him and he probably let us.
What's that one over
This is the
there?
one, this is
Is
the.
that-
That one's the highway.
And
That's the road
Oh,
map.
okay.
Rebuilding.
Because it's
Yeah,
similar.
and the whole
isn't
piece
it?
goes all the way, including what
Yeah,
he's got here includes,
all my maps look the same pretty much.
includes all of that.
I can't do anything.
Searsport. Yeah. Can I just look at that for a minute?
Oh, sure.
And put the numbers on the line?
I don't know how it-
Does
everybody got it?
For me if I
So that's
know.
gonna be,
You got good eyes, you can read that.
Yeah. I got progressive.
Okay. And I will have it done by your next meeting, and you will get copies. What do you think, Marie? Think that the committee ought to get 11 by 17 copies?
Sorry?
Do you think the committee should get 11 by 17 copies, the bigger ones?
No, I mean, my opinion is no, because they're
Okay.
big, and what do you do with them? I like this because you can put it, but
it in
that
the-
should be
And if your
available.
eyes and glasses are good, you can read it.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
but
can't
the
make
big
it.
one should be
if you
available.
have,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah,
have a
the
good map,
magnifier.
but see, this doesn't, it isn't.
Well, let me ask the committee, do you want a big one, an 11 by 17?
No, this one's
Personally,
fine.
I
No, this is
don't.
good.
I don't have any place to
I'm
put
okay
it.
with this.
But as I keep saying, I think it should be displayed somewhere, so people coming in, not just us, but other people know.
Well, we could find a place to, I'll speak to Jim,
Yeah.
because he's kind of the.
Because my
interior
hope
decorator.
is that, as we state our goals, is that we do more good publicity about our historic structures, and so therefore try to take better care of them. So let me just say that the same as we said with the East Main Street Historic District, that is a district, and if a new house is put on that district, it's not on the National Register. The same thing applies to the Main Street. They call it the Searsport Historic District. That would be on Main Street, the commercial buildings. It's the property, and because the buildings are there, that is part of the historic district. But you know what? An interesting thing is for example, Tozier's. Now that's in the historic district, but the building is not a historic building.
Anymore.
So it's kind of, you have to really think about that.
Yep.
And that district does include the Methodist Church.
Oh, okay.
But I'll bet the Methodist Church, I don't know if they could or not, because there have been some things done to that too, but they could apply, just as we could apply, to be on the National
John says they are on the
Register.
register.
Oh, they are on the register? Did you
They're
say
in the
that?
district.
Oh, I thought you said they were on.
I'm sorry, they're in the
Oh, okay.
district.
Oh, they're in the
I get confused-
district, okay.
I get confused on that.
Yeah,
myself.
okay. I
Yes,
was
they're
trying
in
to,
the
I was
district.
trying to sift that one out this afternoon.
Yeah,
Was the Congregational Church
No,
no.
not in the district? Okay.
no. And churches as a rule are not. And the ones that are usually have been ones that have architectural significance, like a bullfinch
Oh, okay.
steeple or whatever, but both of our churches have been very much, changed, raised up and adjusted greatly, so I don't know if they would be architecturally acceptable or not. Like the First Congregational Church has a totally different steeple than it was.
Well, and the
created with.
interior of our church
Has been changed,
significantly
and
changed.
so has the Methodist Church. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we have the option to have our own sites that we want, buildings that we may want. They'd have to be listed separately from
Oh, sure.
the National Register.
Yeah.
But like in some of these things, we've got 10 or 15 other things that could be part of what we consider to be of historic value.
Yep.
But they just wouldn't be on the register, that's all. But that's something that,
I like the idea of
Maybe
that,
you do.
of having a more comprehensive list of historical places in town
Even if they're not on.
on the
National
register.
Register.
They would be a local register.
Because, you know what, in order for us to protect them through legislation, we have to have
You have to
local
identify them.
ordinances anyway. That's the only way they can be protected, otherwise people can do anything they want to. But let me, I had read this and George printed it out, so, and I'm sure he'd be glad to print one out for each of you, but it's on Wikipedia, if you just want to go to Wikipedia. And let me just read this quickly. In the U.S., a historic district is a group of buildings, properties, or sites that have been designated by one of several entities on different levels as historically or architecturally significant. Building structures, objects, and sites within a historic district are normally divided into two categories, contributing and non-contributing. I don't know what that means. Districts greatly varies in size. Some have hundreds of structures, while others have just a few. U.S. federal government designates historic districts through the U.S. Department of Interior under the auspices of the National Park Service. Federally designated historic districts are listed on the National Register of Historic Places, but listing imposes no restrictions on what property owners may do with the designated property. State-level historic districts may follow similar criteria or may require adherence to certain historic rehabilitation standards. Local historic district designation offers by far the most legal protection for historic properties because most land use decisions are made at the local level. Local districts are generally administered by the county or municipal government. So there's more to that, but I strongly recommend that I'm sure you all have Wikipedia. It's interesting. All right, well now, you know what the historic, going back to our goals and our discussion here, we have the historic buildings, we don't have any question about that. They don't request the cemeteries, but I thought, and the previous committee did too, think that our cemeteries are particularly pertinent to our history. So I included those. And then
when you're talking about the cemeteries, Larry Reynolds, I don't know whether you know him, he's on the ambulance service. Excuse me.
Sorry.
Whooping cough is around.
He just wants candy.
No, he's going to join the the cemetery committee.
Good.
And
Good.
his theme or his service is going to be private family cemeteries. He's already located 3 and he's working on, we got some information from Belfast. And so we're going to start documenting the local family type cemeteries.
Because in Maine, I guess families can just bury family members anywhere. You don't have to be in a designated cemetery. That's not true in some states. So that's interesting. That would be good.
I don't know where we'll go with it because there's
a lot of them.
There's some privacy issues there that we don't know about. If they're on the land, that the property goes to whoever is lying there and their heirs and assigns their ancestors, not ancestors, but to their people, their children, their grandchildren, and whether it actually belongs to the person that now owns the land or not.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Because the law does say there has to be a right of way there, but it's kind of gray in the fact that it has to be right there for heirs and not just the general public. So we'll dig out some of that stuff.
Yeah, it'll be
Larry's good.
interesting.
He's very tenacious. He's doing a heck of a job for us. It's a hard job. Finding them physically is difficult, but he's finding them. So that can be of interest here.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, very much.
much so, yeah.
And another time we might want to mention something about that in here. So then going on to this, I mentioned the Museum in the Streets. That was a new project that was not included before. And then the archaeological sites, which we got from the state, that they've been identified by the state, and I pretty much said here what the state said in their documents. So it's interesting to look at that. There are 7 historical archaeological sites, and then 4 prehistoric archaeological sites. And a couple of those former ones were wrecks. So I wonder if, sometimes somebody's going to go down there and find them. And I think the prehistoric archaeological sites is interesting. It's the north end of Sears Island, the coastal shoreland zones from Stockton to the GAC property, Trundy Road to the eastern edge of Mossman Park, and Savage Road to the eastern edge of Moose Point State Park. Actually, my former home bordered on an archaeological site, interestingly. Still does, only I'm not there.
In this Trundy to Mossman, the high school has already done a dig behind Hamilton's St. Law.
Yeah, well, that was Wilson Flight, my neighbor, had some kids come up. He did that with the museum.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's one of the old shipyards.
Yeah, they're all, yeah, that's what they all are. But they got a tremendous amount of artifacts. They put it on display for what, a whole half a year or something like that. And the museum now does have those artifacts.
so then they want to know the threats to the existing sites, and that's obvious, unfortunately. They're not protected within the provisions of the existing land use regulations, except for some signage in the historic districts. The renovations within the districts are an indication that historic buildings are currently inadequately protected. Without the proper ordinances being in place, loss or conversion of remaining buildings is possible. Even, an example is putting the metal roof on one of those blocks, which is a good idea because it makes a good roof. But I think the point is, if you get in touch with the Historic Preservation Committee, the state committee, they make recommendations about what would be appropriate for the historic buildings. So I think that's what we have to get across to people. Not that you can't improve your house, your home, but there are ways to do it that are more appropriate for older houses. So. And then the archaeological sites, the locations are that we have referenced are protected under shoreland zoning. But I want to talk to our code enforcement officer to be sure that he understands that too. But we do have pretty good shoreland zoning already, so that any of the archaeological sites would be included in that. And then the next thing is the Historic Preservation Tax Incentive Program. Now that I don't think most people know about. And it would be very, very useful. Now the problem is that you can't use this tax incentive program for a domestic home. But if you want to convert a building into a business, then this would come into play. And the last conference I attended at the state level was very interested because there were some really big buildings in Bangor that used some of this money to not convert their building, but to restore it and use it for commercial purposes. And again, there's more information on the web if anybody is interested in that. But, part of our job, I think, is to let people know about this.
It's too bad that private homes are not included. It might encourage more people to preserve, older homes.
So then the policies, in order to preserve the town and state's historical and archaeological resources from development that could threaten those resources, the town of Searsport and Searsport Historic Preservation Committee should develop the following policies to submit to the select persons and then the town citizens. And these are the things that I am suggesting that we recommend, include in this recommended policies and then do it, recommend it to the selectmen. And it's not a lot different from what the previous Comprehensive Plan Committee also recommended, but it was never followed through.
Can we do this? We can't do it for this year, right? For the town meeting?
Yeah, I think it would probably be rushing a little bit. We need to,
Only a couple
see how
weeks,
we can
yeah.
approach that.
Okay. So do we need to meet with
Excuse me?
the Board of Selectmen? Do
Yeah.
we need to meet with them or invite them to ourselves to find out?
We need to talk about how we want to approach
Yeah,
it.
we
yeah.
need to have their support to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Are there other funds available for historic preservation properties that are not included with the,
I can't hear you.
on number 6, is increase residents' awareness of available funds?
No,
Are there other
no,
funds?
It's the one that I was talking about.
Just that one for commercial? But it's possible that there are from other agencies, I suppose. You think? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
It would be
It's an idea.
nice. We certainly should look for
Unlikely.
them.
Yeah. It's a web search kind of thing.
So what's the next step?
Well, the implementation strategies. Committee should serve as an advisory board to the town select persons. I think we need to look at our mission statement to be sure that we're following that, and I think we do need to make some changes to that. Mission statement will be revised to guide the town in protecting and preserving the town's rich heritage. Historical documents and artifacts will continue to be gathered. At the current time, the town does not have sufficient space nor climate control for proper storage of documents. Some artifacts can be stored. Is that the right word for the museum? Curry Coleman? Is there?
Curry Carlin Coleman House.
What is it?
The Crary Carlin Coleman House.
Oh, what's the middle one?
Carlin.
C-A-L.
R.
Carlin.
Oh, Carlin.
Yeah, Carlin.
C-A-R-L-I-N. Okay. I'll change that. Some artifacts can be stored at the. Well, now is that
The Coleman has an
just
E,
at
doesn't
Carlin and not Crary, Karen?
Say it again.
Tell me that name again.
Crary Carlin Coleman.
Okay, so it is the 3 words. Okay, all right, I'm with you.
Is there any?
Of the
Does the
historical.
Coleman have an E? No.
However, the inadequate, where are we here? However, the inadequate space and the need for climate-controlled storage facilities needs to be addressed by the town select persons. The collected fund of information can be used to publicize and create awareness of the unique historical heritage of the town of Searsport and to promote continued respect for the citizens which have gone before. The many archaeological sites and fine architectural structures which are part of our town heritage need protection not only for aesthetic reasons but also for the economic value it would bring to the town. Consideration should be given to developing guidelines for National Registry structural alterations which would aid homeowners in retaining the architectural integrity of their home. The Historic Preservation Committee should serve as a resource for the Land Use Committee in developing ordinances regarding renovated National Registry properties. So ideally, that's what I think should happen. Whether or not it's possible is another question.
Yeah, or how long it would take to implement all that.
But, you know, I'm asking you, is this something that you want to include in our recommendation? My sense is that if we could do more good publicity and have people learn to respect our buildings for what they are and enjoy them for what they are, that it would give them an opportunity to enjoy them and not change them just because it
Yeah.
might be convenient to do so.
Yeah, it's tough not to come off negative
Absolutely.
if you want to have restrictions by saying, no, you can't do this and no, you can't do that. 'cause
No, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah. It's kind of a tough thing.
But I think somehow if we can promote appreciation for what we have.
And going back, I mean, this is what was on the comprehensive plan way back in
It's not a lot different from what was on
2004.
that.
when we kind of started this. Yeah, I mean, it's the same verbiage. These are recommended policies, but these are the policies that were already written in, so they're pretty much, well, no, they're a little different. But the implementation one's almost,
But you know, when
for word.
I was asked to be a part of this committee, nobody said anything to me about that. I had no idea. I said, what are we supposed to do?
yeah.
And so we've just kind of done things, but in the meantime, we could have been doing more along this line also.
Well,
We have begun a number of different things, but we haven't completed them all. Remember when we made that list or second list of homes and we started getting information from different buildings or homes or schools, the churches, and then something came up and we just kind of dropped that.
yep.
And they're all out in a drawer someplace, they're filed.
Oh, yeah, Don
Yeah,
has
Don
them.
keeps
Yeah,
track.
they're
Yeah,
all
we have a
there.
file drawer out
Yeah, but
there.
we never quite finished
Well,
all of them
it's-
because something always comes up.
They're all in there, and that there's a list in there. I
was
think
looking
there's a
for
few
it.
that need to be added, but not many.
But that doesn't relate necessarily to the changing of the houses or to having people appreciate the architectural integrity of the period of the house. It takes time to do the research for what you're talking about. That's what it's all
Yeah.
about.
I was looking
And then we
for a
have
mission
people that were
statement.
willing to come in and talk about their houses.
Yep.
and Maybe we can still find some more of those.
Yeah, we can revive that.
Yeah.
The some of the government literature or part of the preservation acts themselves are a wealth of history. You know, if you're talking about history, the buildings on here have been pretty well covered by the government, and they've done an excellent job. You could almost take that verbatim and use it for a history of the building. Have you read those, Maureen?
Oh, yeah. You mean the ones that are on the historic
Yeah.
history? Oh, yeah.
The ones that go with this, you can go into any of those, and the government, bless their hearts, wrote a wonderful
Right.
treatise on the history of them. So there's a lot of information.
Well,
out there.
yeah,
we don't
we-
have to create it. It's already there.
No, certainly
That's right.
they should just automatically be included, right? But I think what your point is that we have a lot of other houses that are not in the historic district, but which are also interesting houses that depict the growth of the town. Well, is this okay, or would you like to make changes? Do you want to think about it?
I'm sorry, are you talking about that list?
I'm talking about what we just
Policies?
went through. This would be given to the comprehensive plan committee as our part.
Pretty complete.
It's still very appropriate. It hasn't changed since 2004. It still are things that are needed and still things that need to be addressed. And when they can be, they will be, we hope. Got to keep them in there. I wouldn't
So I
want to
think-
take them out.
And then what we have to do is if we want to keep them in there, we have to keep them on the front burner and keep
In good faith, try to
educating
start-
is the word
yeah,
that I like to use.
Start working on it. Yep.
Well, we've done some things. I mean, historical documents and artifacts will continue to be gathered.
Yep.
And you know, I think our committee is not the only one that needs to have some more space. I think many town committees realize that we just have inadequate space in town for storage of documents,
Yes.
a climate-controlled space.
But in
And
the
that's
history of the towns in this area, we're very fortunate. We still have our records. So many towns don't
Yep.
have their records.
Well, would somebody, do you want to think about this for until next time, or would somebody like to make a motion to submit this particular document for the comprehensive
fine.
plan?
I make a motion that we keep this pretty much the way it is. There's a couple of little
I have to change
typos.
that name, yeah.
Yeah, there's one on the first page too, where Elmwood, the M is left out of Elmwood.
Oh, right,
And
thank
I-
you. I missed that one.
Yeah. I don't know if there's ever.
Pretty lofty.
Oh, on number one on the last page, recommended policies, it's the Historical Society, not Historic Society.
Okay,
Yep.
historical.
Yeah. But you've got it right down below, other than Carlin.
Where is that?
Number one on recommended policies, last page.
Recommended policy. Oh, okay.
Okay, see where it says historic? It should be Historical Society.
All right.
So we are voting to present this to the comprehensive
To include
board,
it in the comprehensive plan.
board. Okay, and they will go over and they could always send it back to us.
Oh, I doubt if they do that.
No, but I'm just saying, we've got
Good, well,
if,
yeah.
I don't know. We'd have to ask George how he would handle it.
oh, okay. I don't see how much more work we can do on it. I mean,
It's pretty complete.
yeah.
Well, let's see, we had a motion. Is anybody going to second that?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
I think we've had it.
Okay, all in favor of submitting this as part of our comprehensive plan? Okay, thank you. So as I said, I think this is just the beginning of what we have to do, is to work on implementing our recommendations. So, we have other business, because Lynn, you're going to talk to us about this Heritage Day? Is that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you ready for that?
I'm ready.
We've been getting together. It's funny. This day is kind of evolved from different angles, from different people. I was planning on doing a captain's house tour for the museum, and I met Diane Smith, and she talked with Jack Merrithew, who was looking at doing something around a ship, or it was the last ship, which I think might be that one, that was in Searsport. James has an idea of doing something with the future of Searsport, so we came up with past, present, and future. So we have August 5th and 6th kind of pinpoint as the center of it, but we'll probably have some other events during the summer that will be advertised, bring people up to the area. And they have ideas that range from being in costume for different events, a reenactment from the Historical Society, possibly cemetery tours, a panels of different showing, like booths, showing displays of different, over on the Crescent or inside. Having one of the Coast Guard boats come up from the Rockland, I believe, that James has an ear to.
What's coming up from Rockland?
Well, he has a connection that is a boat. I think it's a Coast Guard boat, but it may be a different boat. I get my modern boats confused, but and it's not set in stone, but it would be moored out there, and they are equipped to bring people in and out to visit and
Nice. That is
tours.
very nice.
And they have not been able or wanted to or couldn't make it happen before because it was too small of a venture, but if we do it in combination with the Lobster Festival, then they kind of come up the coast and visit us as when they're visiting other ports.
They always have a ship in at that event
Yes.
for people to go out to.
Yes, so that would be nice. Maybe some booths about the maritime school. Also, we talked about a genealogical presentation at the museum that would be kind of spur interest in the history. And we're encouraging a lot of different people to join us from the Historical Society, from the churches, or from the businesses, how that's getting involved to have these different events. So if anyone else is interested, we're having a meeting on the 11th of March at 3 o'clock right here.
Oh, you said at 3 o'clock.
At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, yes.
That's a Friday.
Well, we're kind of going around James's schedule. He's only available Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Wednesday was bad. And so.
Lynn, the ship that James is talking to is the Grapple.
Ah, yes,
Oh.
that was
here
instrumental in
before.
finding
It
the
was here before.
El Faro
Yeah.
wreckage.
Oh.
Yes,
And I think that's pretty particular.
yes, that's a pretty good find. Yes,
Wow.
a lot of people would be very interested in that.
They will, because there's a lot of people affected by that in this area, for sure.
It's not with the
There
Navy
was something
now.
on
It's
the
with,
news tonight about that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
the
trying all the
investigations.
hearings that they're having. And the Historical Society is having a Civil War,
The reenactment.
which is going to feature the 20th Maine. And there will be not a complete reenactment because they don't do that. Peter Dalton's coming and bringing some
Yes,
of his
Dorothy
group.
mentioned
But
that,
there's
yes.
somebody who he knows or is on that that group that does dress up. They have tents, and so he's hoping that they'll be free that weekend, and they're going to come and talk about that. And other members of the Round Table group are going to talk about other things about Maine and the Civil War. and
We've got a
whatnot.
wealth of ideas, and
Oh,
that's
good.
another very good
Yeah.
one.
So,
Yeah.
and we'll have the house open, and the fire trucks will be on display, and so.
Well, we would hope it would also be part of the house tour too, with the history. So
Yep, excellent.
How are you going? Are you going to go inside houses, or
Yeah.
how are you?
yep, and we're choosing houses that not necessarily, we're calling it a captain's house tour, but it's not necessarily captain's. Diane Smith is volunteering her house, and the ancestors of Rays were ship fitters, building things inside the ships, which is
Yep.
part of it. Hope to have Rita's house, and hopefully the house with the Nancy Barnes's, hopefully. I can talk her into
Who?
it. Nancy Barnes's house with the widow walk, up top there.
Yeah, of course, your mother was saying that that's not really original to the house, but
No, but they did it as close as they could. Yeah.
Well, it'd be worth talking about, and
Oh, yeah.
hopefully.
Interesting.
You just-
Yes,
yeah.
it's a kind of a point of history this house has
And that
had.
house has never been on a tour. So that would be,
Yeah,
you
well,
need to,
great.
I need to use houses that, you
Yeah.
know, we're digging up more for Christmas.
Well, we'll see how that
Ones that
plays
haven't been
out.
open before, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And maybe
What
some
was
of
the
the
first
inns.
house you said?
Oh, Diane Smith's
Oh,
house.
I
Yeah,
got,
she
I got,
volunteered.
oh,
Down
yeah.
on Leach Street.
And I'm hopeful Rita
Yeah, I got that one.
will join in. There's a few people I've tough time getting
Yeah.
a hold of because I don't know them except in the summertime. I have to
Yeah.
find them when they're home in the summertime
Yeah.
or when they arrive. But we should have at least 5. Oh, and the library person, Canuti, Marge Canuti's house.
Yeah.
She's interested in.
Okay.
Dick Horowitz's house has quite a history as far as
Yes, that's
Troy
right.
Wheels and Ghost.
Yeah,
Something like
that's
you were gonna
right.
do a
That'd be
ghost
good to
tour
ask, yeah.
again, or something like the one you did before.
Well,
Yeah.
I think, well, the museum, we're doing on the last day the museum closes, we're doing a kind of a ghost
Oh, okay.
thing. Yeah.
I think you did it Fling into Fall last
I did, yes,
time.
and
You
we didn't
did.
go in the houses.
Right, we just went on.
I wanted to do something that was during the tourist season. So not only would we have more visitors come through the houses and hear some of the history, but also the people who have these houses are here during the summer.
Yeah.
And we could open them up. And then it would be a totally different thing from the Historical Society
Yeah.
doing the Christmas one,
Yeah.
which is a little more all-inclusive. So, yeah, well, we'll probably bring a ghost tour back again. I mean,
Yeah.
people are always interested
fun.
in that. And that's a good fling into fall thing, because it's, kind of fallish. But this, I really want to do something in the summer when people
No,
are here.
this tour, will the houses be open and people will go on their own to get
Yep.
to them? So it doesn't really matter if they're a little ways away from each other?
No, but
They don't-
they'd have to
Yeah,
they're
Good. Good.
self-guided. And we're hoping to have some brochures or have the people talk a little bit about the history of the house, so they'll know when they go there, oh, this was Captain Nichols' house, and
Yeah.
he was a master mariner, and he
Yeah.
was, what that means, what's a master mariner, and some little history between this and what he brought back, maybe contributed to the community, different things like that people love that kind of stuff. So
Has Phyllis Summers ever had her building?
that's another good one. I'm
Right.
gonna talk to
Yes,
her.
we had
Yeah.
it just a couple of years ago. She opened it.
I
The
will
what,
talk to her.
Don? Which house?
Phyllis
Phyllis
Summers.
Summers.
Yeah, she has a lovely house, a lot of
Great stuff.
antiques that she could
Yes.
talk about that were.
Yes.
Well, and that's on the museum in the streets. There's a plaque there
Ah,
which will be
that's
put up
convenient.
there. So
I'll talk with her. I'll have to. Nancy. Nancy could go either way on her house. Because, Bob's Bernil and they have company and all that kind of thing, but maybe with a little arm twisting, she'll come around. I'm hopeful.
okay, well, sounds very
But anyways,
interesting.
we want everybody's input, so. I
Who's
want
on the
some say.
committee? Who all's on the?
Well,
Anybody who can come.
anybody who can come, but so far, Diane Smith and Dorothy Alling and Sipperly and Travis Otis and from the Harbor Master doing some harbor things. I'm trying to think of something to have at Mosman Park. I think maybe a baseball game was talked about.
Great.
Okay.
That would be historic.
That's like an old home
Yeah.
day
'Cause
kind of
there's
thing.
who's that artist in town who painted?
Waldo Pierce.
Waldo Pierce.
Yes.
There's a Waldo Pierce.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we
Right.
could get that. Who has that?
We should
picture
try to
of
get
that?
another
Is that-
flat
is
air
that
I
over
think
at
it's
the
at the
school?
elementary.
We could do
It's
that.
at the elementary.
That would be
That's one in
really
July.
nice. You know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
There you go. You should have put those Waldo Pierce pictures, paintings, on the tour. They're over in the school, up in the library, and I'll
yes.
bet you could get permission to do that.
a good idea.
That would be a real attraction, I think, don't you?
Yeah.
And we actually have the prints that they did for the school at the museum, because I knew the gal who had the fundraiser, and she said, I don't know what to do with these. I said, I'll buy them all from you. So I bought them all. So we have all the rest of them.
Yeah.
We still probably have about 50 left
Wow.
that we could sell.
If-
Of the baseball game?
Of the baseball game.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
yeah.
It's too bad that you couldn't get them from the school and put them on display up in Union Hall, like we did the old art show.
I kind of like the
Town
idea
and
of that. I
whatnot.
know they
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
they're
kind of
in a
worried
historic
about
building, but they may not
taking
want
people through the school, but I
Well,
don't
and
know.
they may
During the
not,
summer
yeah,
especially.
but they may not want them moved.
Yeah, as a
either.
matter of fact, I feel better about going through the school
You
than
do?
moving them over to the,
Yeah, moving is always
Because
Quite a liability,
paintings.
you're talking a lot of money
Yeah.
there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we would have to obviously have people there, you know.
Oh, yeah. But I'll run that by somebody that,
But there maybe is a school event you could do and combine it that way too.
Well,
The
it's
kids
summer.
get the kids involved.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's kids working on stuff all the time. I mean, you could do one of these then and now things or something.
And you know, that
To-
would be a good educational project for the kids because they could narrate the pictures.
Yeah. Well, that is a good idea.
Yeah.
Travis is that's kind of his ballywick, you know, his the kids' things. You know, he wants to have a, you know, a kids dress up promenade, maybe bicycle decorations and things. Encourage that, and I'll mention that to him. So, and getting the Boy Scout and Girl Scout troops, what there are of them. I had one. I guess a museum years ago did a Waldo Pierce exhibit. I
Yeah.
would love to have. A lot of those paintings have been sold and gone out of our reach. But
Really? Yeah.
Ellen Fuller has a couple in her house.
Yeah.
does she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to an auction this spring. So I guess it was the second auction they had of them.
Oh.
All ideas, help are welcome.
Well, it's nice to see if you can get, you know, cover the whole history of the town. Not everybody's interested in art. Not everybody's interested in houses.
the
Not
cabins.
everybody's
Yes, right.
interested in boats. Not, you know, I mean, it's wonderful to think. And I love the idea of past, present, and future.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
you know, what's going to be going on here. I love the idea of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Will he have anything ready for the idea of the school?
They're going to have some kind of a booth or some kind of a display up for that. He was also talking about getting perhaps, and that's really iffy, getting some special permission to have tours going into, you know, into the port. And once
Oh,
again, people
wow,
know-
that would be
I
exciting.
know a lot of people would be interested in that.
Wow, yeah.
You can't get down there.
No,
You
you have to
certainly
have
can.
special clearances.
Yep.
Well, I bet that you can do that because we did that, you know, several years. It was more than several now, but they were very glad to have us because they want people to know about the port and
Yep.
the things that go on there.
C.H.
Yep.
Sprague, I think, invited when they were putting in their slurry project and there's something else, and they had people come down and tour.
Yeah, we did. We
their
did as a
facility.
committee.
Yeah. Oh, did we? I don't
Yes,
know
we
if I
did.
don't think I went, but I
Very
know my
nice.
mother went on one.
Was that pre
That's the one she
9/11?
went on. It's very nice. We went out to the-
Yeah. Yeah, she's out.
Oh, okay. You know what? I forgot something. This is what this is the annual report that I wrote. So if you would like
Oh,
that.
it's going to be, you're going to deliver it on the town meeting day?
Well, it'll go in the
Oh, it's in
book.
the booklet.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you, Lynn. That was interesting. So you were saying everybody should come to that meeting, and
Anyone is welcome, absolutely. And if you have, and all ideas will be examined anyways. We can't take off too much that we bite off too much that we're going to chew. If we,
yeah, somebody has to do this, you know.
That's right, that's
Don,
right.
thanks so much for this. This is really very,
Yeah,
I
I'll-
think, very
I'll finish
helpful.
that out and we'll have it. Now, I'll talk to James about putting one somewhere.
And we'll put this with the with our comprehensive plan.
It's the accurate map at this point.
Yeah.
I'll get that done this next week, I think.
And I'm back working on cemeteries. So I'll be, when I get something together, I'm going to come up to your committee and
Good enough. I'd love to have you.
And what?
show what I have, you know, finish up the Bowdish brochure and see if we can get something going.
You mean to do a tour like you did before? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I'm talking about getting the brochures ready. From the brochures, it's easy to do a tour. As I said to Dorothy, you know, I can't be everywhere. We gotta have somebody be,
Yeah.
or else we have to do it a different time in the house tour. We have to do it, you know, either And they're very nervous about Fling in the Fall, where that's even going to happen this year, because it's all different. Everyone is sort of vaporized off that committee, and
Oh,
they need some new blood, and town has taken it over, I guess.
Who in the town?
Carrie, recreation director.
Well, Carrie's not that interested and can't do it or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's that's why they're
Yeah.
really not sure how it's gonna. Ralph doesn't want to do it anymore, and we'll see what happens.
It's a lot of work.
yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Coordinating
A
everything,
lot of
yeah.
coordination. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So this
Joe
may be the
Plummer will
big
be
thing.
disappointed.
Who will?
Joe Plummer. He's the fellow
Yeah.
that does the
Yeah,
Well,
Truck
isn't he
construction
selling his house? And
is he?
that's what I had heard, that
Really?
he was going to be moving, and
His wife is, having her health problems.
yes, has been ill.
That's
Yes.
Well, that would be too bad because they're very interested in the community.
Yeah, he's been a good citizen.
Oh yeah.
Good citizen.
So
But
I don't
things
know what's going to
change.
happen with that. But things may come and go. And
So we got to get new stuff coming.
yes.
so this is kind of a new thing.
Oh, thank you. Is this a different one, or is this?
That's the membership stuff.
Oh, okay.
Man number.
Man.
Yeah, I'm interested in going to that.
Oh, well, we're members. It costs $50. I don't know what this is.
Must be bored.
That's why we get this newsletter.
Your husband is as good as Wikipedia. I tell you.
He is, he definitely is.
I rely on him pretty
My
heavily.
cohabitator.
Whatever. He is a very valuable person.
Yes, yes. I think he's going to be honored. I've been watching the TV on town meeting day.
Oh, good.
So,
He should be.
yes, very dedicated. Yes.
He works darn hard.
Yeah, he does. He's very dedicated.
He's like our town manager. People don't appreciate the hours that he does put in. So they come in and don't see him, and that's all they remember. But they don't know the times that he's in here working, and the weekends he's in.
nights.
And
I do. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
we got-
George too. George and
Yeah.
James, they're both undercover agents.
So to speak.
Well, we got a big bang for our buck, with James. That's the way I feel about it.
Yes. Boy,
And I have to say, when I first heard he was going to be town manager and be in this, I thought, I don't know.
How's that gonna work?
How's that
And
going to
boy,
work? I got to figure that out. Man, he does it.
Let's adjourn the meeting.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay.